Hello fellow YouTubers, and welcome to my build guide for my Kinetic Blast Elemental Wandsaw. I'm your host, Stuff Daddy with AOE Gaming. Today I'm going to talk to you about one of the other Bloodlines characters that I did. This one is my Ellie Wandsaw, is what I call it anyway. It's kind of a spin-off of the Ellie Buzzsaw build using Spectral Throw and everything. Obviously, the whole build concept behind this was I wanted to create an aura stacking Wander running Resolute Technique that could put out really good damage without having to go crit. And I gotta say, I was really happy with the way this one turned out. This character is a lot of fun. You know, I can't say enough about it. It's a lot of fun. You have to try it out. Anyways, the whole, like I said, the whole idea behind this was to run a bunch of elemental auras, as many as I could run. So I found I was able to run 3 separate auras as well as 2 heralds. I chose to run Anger, Wrath, Purity of Lightning with a Lightning Coil for a little bit extra survivability, as well as Herald of Ice and Herald of Thunder. Again, this is in Bloodlines Hardcore League. Is the build spec'd for full survivability in hardcore? Probably not. You'll see on the passive tree I don't really have acrobatics or anything like that. Is it possible to make this build to where it's, you know, very hardcore viable? Yes. Obviously right now I'm level 83 in hardcore. I'm surviving and doing really well with it. So it is hardcore viable, but not really hardcore optimal, I guess you could say. But it's a hell of a lot of fun, I'll tell you that. Alright, so let's just take a look at the passive tree real quick. You'll see I did Scion Start, made it a little bit easier to get to everything I needed to get to on this build. I started going down through the projectile nodes, up through the life wheel, and over towards Witch Start. I chose this start path to level Flame Blast. Obviously, leveling with Flame Blast is as easy as it gets, so you can do that. Honestly, I also found out when I got to level 24, 25 and switched to Kinetic Blast, I was able to level pretty efficiently with Kinetic Blast as well once I picked up the Ellie Wand nodes. You can see all the reduced mana nodes that you get as well too. This is what allows you to run all these auras. You also need an Alpha's Howl with this build. So let's take a look at the gear real quick. Alpha's Howl, like I said, is going to be your biggest one. With the Alpha's Howl, you're going to want to run Reduce Mana, Wrath, Purity of Lightning, and Anger. Those are going to be the gem setups you're going to want to run in here. The Heralds do not benefit from the Alpha's Howl in terms of the +2 to socketed aura gems, so you're going to want to run all your auras in here. Obviously, getting 2 off colors like that, 2 red, 2 blue, is pretty hard. It took me probably about 300 chromats to get it, which I was pretty lucky to get it at that, but, you know, stick with it. You should be able to get it. Lightning Coil is next up. Lightning Coil is if you want to have a little bit more survivability. This is kind of my way of making it more hardcore viable, is running the Lightning Coil. The 30% physical damage taken as lightning comes in really handy, especially when you have 80% lightning resistance using Purity of Lightning. Very, very handy. Amulet and rings, you really want life, elemental damage with weapons. I needed a lot of dexterity. I was lacking in dexterity for this build to run GMP and everything, so I got a really high dexterity amulet. But other than that, life and LE damage with weapons is pretty much what you're looking for on these rings. The other one I'm running is Sibyl's Lament. Sibyl's not only is to give you good elemental damage with weapons on it, but you see left ring slot, 30% reduced reflected elemental damage with weapons. This is huge. Now, Reflect does hurt on this build a little bit. It's not going to one-shot you, but it definitely chunks you pretty good if you really fire into it. So Sibyl's Lament kind of nullifies that, and very, very good. So I'd recommend running that if you can. It's very cheap usually to pick up in any league you're looking at, even newer leagues. So for the shield, just a defensive shield, life, resistances, that's all you're really looking for. In terms of a wand, you're going to want an elemental wand that's going to have 3 different properties is the best if you can get cold, fire, and lightning. Obviously this one only has fire and lightning, but it's got pretty good rolls on it too. So, and then craft attack speed on it if you can. Imbued Wand is what you're really going to want to look for. Imbued Wand has 1.5%, 1.5 basic attacks per second. So if you can craft attack speed on top of that, you're in pretty good shape. Gloves, boots, belt, everything else is just defensive really, life, resistances, and then belt you're going to want to craft increased elemental damage with weapons on it too. Let's look at the links real quick. We have Kinetic Blast linked with weapon elemental damage, greater multiple projectiles, blood magic, and faster attacks. You have to run blood magic obviously, you only have 22 mana unreserved, so there's no way you can't not run blood magic. Your 6th link, your optimal 6th link is going to be Life Leech. Is it hard to run Blood Magic right now without Life Leech? Not really. Using a combination of the Atziri's Promise as well as the Warlord's Mark setup here, it's not that bad. It could be bad if you're not running those things, but once you get a 6th link, run Life Leech immediately. Obviously, like I said, with the Alpha Sal, you want to run Reduced Mana, Wrath, Purity of Lightning, Anger. Reduce mana with Herald of Thunder, Herald of Ice as another setup. And then for your cast when damage taken setup, you're going to want to run Enduring Cry, Immortal Call, and Increased Duration. Like I said, with this link here, I'm running Blood Magic, Warlord's Mark, Increased Area of Effect. I'm running that for more survivability for the Leech from Warlord's Mark right now. If you can, once you can run Life Leech with your Kinetic Blast, then I would recommend running a utility like Spell Totem, Frost Wall, Faster Casting. The Frost Wall allows you to fire into a wall and wall bang a boss easily. So all those explosions are hitting the boss and just blowing them up really quickly. The other utility I used that you saw earlier in the video was Veil Spark, linked with GMP, Trap, and Lightning Pen. It's a boss shredder. I mean, it absolutely destroys bosses. What I do is I run up, I turn off Herald of Thunder real quick, and then just throw it into the crowd, and the boss just gets shredded by it. So you can run it, you don't have to run it. You can also run like a Barrage setup too if you want to as well, or even a Power Siphon setup. Other than that, Bandits, you're going to want Oaken normal for the 40% extra, or I'm sorry, 40 additional life. You're going to want to get Creighton for the 8% additional attack speed and Cruel, and Merciless just kill all so you can get an additional passive point. You don't need any power charges, frenzy charges, endurance charges, anything like that. For this build, your flask, you're going to want a Remove Bleed, Instant Recovery Flask, Immunity to Curses. I like running a Topaz Flask because running Lightning Coil as well. If you're coming across a really heavy physical pack or something like that, you pop that, you have 90% lightning resistance. Really good, really good. Atziri's Promise is the other one I'd recommend for a utility flask if you can get it. If not, you can run any kind of a elemental flask or something like that for Ellie Reflect help too. But Atziri's Promise, the additional chaos damage leeches life as well as 15% elemental damage is extra chaos damage. Pretty darn nice. I would highly recommend it. Other than that, you can see from the build you saw from the skill tree earlier, 49% attack speed off the tree, 314% elemental damage, 144% maximum life. You can also run Veil Pact once you get Life Leech as well too, and it'll be pretty effective. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions about the build, please feel free to let me know. There is a full build guide on the PoE forums as well too. Thank you.